yeah, that I hope it would be. What should you do in that circumstance?
Well, first off, it's important to recognize that that's your typical habit. You are typically spending your time, like everybody else, in not enjoying what you're doing. So that's just what you do. You're just doing the same old, same old. All right. But you now understand that you've got a choice, that you don't have to spend your time in the same old, same old. You have a choice about what you're going to do.
Mm.
And so right then and there is, aha, I see that I'm just being generally unhappy the way that I've been so many times before, and I have a choice about it. Whoop-de-doo, isn't that marvelous? You recognize you've got a choice now. That's just knowing you've got a choice is liberating. If you can remember that you've got a choice, but most people, they're just stuck in it. And then later they ask me about why did I get stuck or why was I stuck? And the answer to that is that's your habit. That's where you've been doing. And you remember right then and there that you've got a choice, that you can look at what you're doing and then make a change. Wow, I see that stuff. And that's beginning to change right then and there. Wow, there's no place to go and nothing to do. That if it's hot, the Thai people, by the way, is a culture that has had more than adequate water for many, many centuries with no option of it falling apart. Even though the Chinese are damming up the Mekong River, there's still going to be plenty of water. And over the many, many centuries, the Thai people have developed taking a bath several times a day, to where you come out of a culture of people didn't take a bath but once a year when they bought new clothes. And that over at Wat Suan Mok, when it was hot, you could have taken a bath. In fact, right across from the dormitory is the area for bathing. Only 30 steps away. You know about it. I mean, you've been there. You could have just said, oh, it's hot, I'm going to just take a bath. And take a bath and take another bath. And enjoy the cool water. But somehow or another, we have the idea that we've got to endure it. It's hot, oh, poor me. Rather than making a change. It's hot. Oh, I'll just go take a bath. They do what they call cut baths. You just take a dipper and that was all the bath you need. That's refreshing right then and there. And so we can do that mentally also, is to take a bath, a mental bath. Just take that cup of kindness and just douse yourself. But you have to remember that you can do that. That it's your choice.
Yeah. And it's letting, it's the sense of
what?
Sense of that can emerge, right, from feelings of whatever, irritation or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be joy. Correct me on this, but it doesn't necessarily have to be joy, but it could just be a sense of peace at the fact that you are you are peaceful.
Relaxation, right. Mm-hmm. And if you are peaceful and satisfied, that's the basis for joy to arise. Well, I can handle this. Yeah, it's hot, so what? Yeah, it's hot, I can take a bath. Or in your case, oh, my mind is on fire, but that's typical. I'll just take another bath.
Yeah.
Well, I see I'm hot.
Yeah. But also, you know, that when you're talking about, okay, just go and take a bath, like not just a mental bath, but a physical bath, it's also, it's this idea that if there is something practical you can do to alleviate, then do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you have to fight through torture or discomfort just for the sake of it.
Right. That's actually quite built into our culture.
Yeah.
To endure, to put up with, to do what you're told to do, trudge on. And that's exactly opposite of what the Buddha teaches. Buddha teaches to just stop. If you're hot, go take a bath.
Yeah.
Cool off, cool down. You don't have to persevere.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There was something else I wanted to ask you, if that's okay. So I've been reading some and listening to some talks by Buddhadasa, and I've been reading his book, the Manual on Mankind or something. I forget the exact name right now.
The Handbook for Mankind.
The Handbook for Mankind, thank you. And the thing that he keeps reiterating is that essentially nothing in life is worth having or being, you know, due to the 3 marks of existence and the fact that everything is going to be unsatisfactory, you know, ever changing and not self. And you know,
well, you've got it upside down by saying it that way. Okay, everything is changing.
Yeah.
And when you put yourself into it, you put in dissatisfaction.
Right.
But you can see that, in fact, this anicca, dukkha, anatta is actually kind of a fork in the road, or a Y. Okay, you're going down the road of things are changing, and you have a choice. You can either go for, oh, it's not my problem, oh, it's not me, not a worry in the world, or you can go down the road of dissatisfaction and dukkha, and it's your choice. And Bhikkhu Buddhadasa says nothing is worth clinging to as I, me, or mine. That clinging to means that we don't like the change, or we want change to be different than it is.
Yeah.
Like heat, like being a hot day. Well, it's not going to be hot all day. By 4 in the afternoon, it cools off. In the evening, it can be cool. But it's not cool right now. And I want it to be cool right now. That's the dukkha, is bringing in the I want. Rather than, oh, it's hot, and it's hot.
Yeah.
And I can make a change. I can go take a bath.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it definitely speaks to me, and I understand it, and you know, on an intellectual level, I understand it. You know, and I've also experienced it through my practice. I just wanted to give a quick sort of analogy, if you like, of how I understand it, and then I had a question at the end. Is that all right? If I just want to
Just go for it. I mean, you're spending way too much time not doing anything, dancing around it. Jump right in.
Right. Okay. So I was reflecting on this, things I want to have or things I want to be, right? So I thought, well, something that if I look back on my own life, right, something I've wanted to have, since I was like a teenager, right, is a romantic relationship, right?
Why? Why?
Well, I was going to get to that. Yeah.
No, that's the question is, why do you want to have a romantic relationship?
Well, I have wanted to have one. I'm not necessarily saying I want one now, but if I look back on
All right.
sensual desire, right? So wanting to be with someone who's beautiful. There's I think the status side of it, right? That you want somebody who elevates your status, that looks good, that helps you to feel you fit in. There's also
society tells you you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's also just that sense of fitting in. And there's also that sense of if you're not in one, then you're missing out, right? Like, So I think those are maybe things that have always been going on, And so I was then sort of applying the 3 marks of existence to think about. So there's been periods in my life where I haven't been in a relationship, quite extended periods, and the result is that it leads to feelings of, insecurity or, being a bit incomplete.
Well, only because you have thoughts of insecurity leads to the feelings of insecurity. You could have had the other kind of thoughts of, wow, I can pick up and go wherever I want to. Wow, I don't have to have somebody tagging along.
No,
tying me down.
Yeah.
But you chose the other kind of thoughts to have.
Yeah. No, I get that, and I'm talking about it more from just being brutally honest on how I have reacted in the past through ignorance, and so I know that I don't have to have those thoughts, but that may have been the thoughts that I ended up having, right, at different times.
Yeah, ignorantly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you were doing what you were told to do, and you were doing it ignorantly, thinking that the society knew best, and it also fit in with your DNA, your sensual desire.
Sure. And then there's been times when I have got it, as in I have got what I wanted, the girlfriend or whatever that supposedly ticks those boxes and whatnot. And yet then, I've had different experiences of that. I've had moments where I've feared losing what I thought I had through that, I guess it's.
And then eventually you did lose her, and so you felt back then. Okay, so if you look at it like this is an important point. Let me fill this in for you. You wanted a girl, and you didn't have a girl, and you felt bad. And then you wanted a girl, and you got a girl, and because you got a girl, now you might lose her, you feel bad. And then when you do lose her, you really feel bad.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think the final sort of outcome I've experienced in my life is where you have a girlfriend and you get aspects of what you want or what you think you want, but you don't get all of it. And then that's especially confusing, because then you're like, wait, I'm supposed to
get a girl. I thought I'd feel good when I got a girl, and I wind up not feeling so good, that she makes demands. That it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it was. So you wanted the girl ignorantly without knowing all of the ramifications.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think even if you were to get the supposedly perfect relationship, it would still
wow,
be...
now you're really going to be afraid you'll lose it.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
There is a song.
fun.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, don't make a pretty woman your wife. It's my personal point of view. Don't let a pretty girl marry you. Okay, why? The perfect girl is trying to be perfect. She's trying to be attractive. She's, in fact, going through the same DNA junk that you're going through.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's in the habit of doing that. So she was all dolled up looking for a guy. And when she got the guy, she's still all dolled up looking for a guy. So there's going to be more guys coming. And you don't want that because that makes you feel bad to lose her. And then you confront her, and now she's feeling bad too. All right. Yeah. So this perfect girl that we all want to have is an invitation for big misery.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we lose her anyway because there's always the big stud that comes by, but he'll lose her too.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it is that eventually she's going to get old and wrinkled and nobody wants her. And it doesn't matter how much face paint she puts on, she still now really feels inadequate. What a cycle our human beings have gotten themselves into.
Yeah. So, so I guess then this comes to the question that I wanted to ask you. So one approach of, let's say, a monk, right, or somebody who's really living a monk-esque life, is to reduce entirely, right?
Well, there's a lot of esques about monks.
Right.
Okay. What do you mean by that? Some monks get up at 4 a.m. So getting up at 4 a.m, is that monk-esque? Okay. Some monks live happily by themselves, and other monks want to get out of the monkhood so that they can go get married or have children or whatever their excuse is, where in fact they really just want to go get laid. And so what is a monk? Is a monk the one who is happy the way he is? Is the monk the one who does what he's told to do? So when you talk about monk-esque, there's a whole variety of stuff and feelings around that.
Okay.
The question is, how do you feel? Do you feel okay? Because you can travel, you can go where you want to do, you can have a happy life on your own.
Yeah.
But then who's going to do your laundry? The answer to that is you take your clothes off and stomp on them while you're taking a shower.
So I guess
they get soapy enough because the soap that you put on your body goes down to the clothing, and then you're stepping on them, and you don't need somebody to wash your clothes. You'd be surprised at how many guys want to get a divorce and they're afraid to because they have those kind of thoughts. Well, who will take care of me? Who will wash my clothes?
I can see that, certainly from the who will take care of me perspective, or everything that goes into that. Yeah.
Until you recognize you can take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to be taken care of. And then if you are taken care of, then you can enjoy being taken care of rather than being in a fear of loss of, oh no, I'll lose being taken care of because I need it.
Yeah.
I need it, then I can just enjoy it when it.
Oh, wait. Hey, Dhammarato, can you hear
me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm back. I think, that was probably my connection, was it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we've got fiber optics right into the house here.
Okay. But you're hearing me okay now, right?
Yeah, you were breaking up some, but I can hear you now.
Need to see if I'm just going to change to my data connection. It might work better. Just give me a second. All right. Yeah, data wasn't working either. So let's just hopefully this works okay.
Okay.
So rather than getting caught up on the sort of the monk, more like leaving the world behind, I guess. Somebody who leaves the world behind entirely, right? So the idea of I know there are I think a few people that obviously monasteries and are living in almost complete seclusion. On one approach to this, saying, okay, nothing is worth having or being, is to just live in seclusion and to take that very, very literally and very, very, seriously. And I guess, another approach is to sort of live in the world, but try to apply these principles as you live in the world.
But that requires you to practice diligently.
Right.
Requires us to be in seclusion for longer periods of time so that we can really get our mind straightened out, get our joy juice going so that we can go handle the world joyfully.
But yeah.
You see, many people have the idea, they've been taught that the world is broken and they've got to fix it. What the world needs is joy, love. It doesn't need to be repaired.
Yeah.
And so that's what you need to do if you're going to be in and out of the world, that in fact inside the Wat it's going to be hot. That in fact one of the things about a Wat is that it attracts people who need a Wat. And so when you go to a Wat, you're going to actually, let us say that there's a certain thing called an emotional quotient that's at an average at a particular place. Wats have an actually lower emotional quotient because all of the people who need emotional support go to the Wat to get it. So a Wat, by its nature, may be a supportive place, but it's also a place that attracts misery.
Right.
So the question is can you find a place in the Wat where you don't have to deal with that? Now, I was actually kind of lucky when I was in the United States because almost all the monks that were around were kind of senior monks. That in fact, the lay people, the Asian people, when they're putting a Wat together and looking for monks in Asia, they don't want new monks. They want monks of 10, 20 years. And so some Wats then will have a lot of new people.
Right.
And they're the ones then that you kind of want to stay away from. They're worse off than the world itself. And so we still come back to the issue of seclusion, to get away from everything, because you're going to find the world in the Wat too. But you're also going to find an old master here and there who's learned how to deal with the Wats. But there was actually a kind of a standing joke about Achan Po. Everybody knew where Bhikkhu Buddhadasa was, but he was kind of in seclusion and everybody was tolerant enough not to bother him. Where Achan Po, the abbot of Wat Suan Mok for so many years, had a different technique. Nobody knew where he was. It's a big Wat, really, really big. And he was out and about all over the place, taking hikes and finding obscure monks in the back and whatnot like that. So, and the people in the front want to know, where is Achan Po? He's not going to be at the front of the Wat.
Mm.
So that'll give you a different kind of perspective about what is a monk's life, or what is monkish.
Yeah. It doesn't. It can be. The key thing is seclusion, finding seclusion, an opportunity to be kind of away from the world, to focus on your. You don't necessarily have to be in a monastery to do that.
To focus on getting your mind back into a good state. To focus on getting your attitude correct. To focus on feeling safe and secure and comfortable, satisfied.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether you're a monk or not. What really needs to be is, can you find the seclusion, and can you practice?
Yeah. So, what would the Buddha say, or what would Buddhadasa say, or what would you say, I guess, to people today that are still at that age where they, potentially are looking for a partner, or they're not quite sure whether, because, in my situation, I feel like I've gone quite a lot in the monk. I've started to, in the last few years, really prioritize seclusion. But then I wonder if I'm almost doing that too much, and if I should also, make more opportunities to actually, find a partner and stuff like that. What would
that's just another thought, though.
Right.
That's just another thought. And you can say, aha, I see that thought. Why can't I be happy and satisfied right here, right now, the way things are? Why am I looking for something new? Why am I not satisfied with the way things are? Coming into a state of satisfaction. That's exactly what the Buddha teaches, by the way, is dukkha, dukkha, nirodha. See the dukkha and come out of it. See that wanting a girl, wanting a relationship is dukkha. Pursuing a relationship is dukkha. Getting a relationship is dukkha. Losing a relationship is dukkha.
So in that case, just finding a state of equanimity where it happens.
Well, it doesn't happen. You have to do it. You have to make a change, because the baseline is not equanimity. The baseline is frustration and worry.
Right. At the moment.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Even the arhat, the baseline is frustration. You got to make a change. You got to remember you can make a change, and remember again you can make a change.
But is it something that you? But essentially, what you're saying is that any plan at all, or any aspiration, is potentially going to lead to dukkha. So you should, in this area of your life, you should just sort of say, look, whatever, I focus purely on purifying the mind in the here and now, and then whatever happens or doesn't happen related to anything else in my life, whether that be relationships or whatever, work, etc., is just a sort of a byproduct of that.
Maybe this will help. I would not take a dog to the vet to have her neutered or spayed, but I would not prevent one of my family members from taking a dog to have it neutered or spayed. That's their business. In other words, the way things are right now are okay.
Yeah.
And when somebody goes do something that you wouldn't do, that's okay.
Yeah.
That in fact, many of the Westerners are making more trouble by trying to come out of the trouble, trying to figure out how to come out of the trouble. And the fact is, there was no trouble in the first place. Just stop trying to fix things. They're not broken. They're already okay.
Yeah.
Get your body comfortable. If that getting the body comfortable means to go take a shower or go take a bath, and go take a shower, go take a bath, get comfortable. Which is exactly the same thing that we need to do with the mind.
Yeah.
When the mind is hot, get it comfortable again. Go take a shower. Clean the thing out. Come back to where everything is okay. Everything is all right. Everything is fine. Not a worry. No problems. No dangers. Especially no dangers. You're okay the way you are. Enjoy the way you are. Warts and all. You're just okay the way you are.
By dangers, do you mean the hindrances?
Actually, I would say that the hindrances themselves are dangerous, but feeling danger then would be a hindrance to feeling good. Having thoughts of what is dangerous would be the same thing as worry. You're worried about something. That's very, very close to doubt. And many people have the doubt, for instance, doubt about how to practice. And you can set that doubt about how to practice aside and just sit down and enjoy. I don't have to figure out how to practice. I'm just going to be happy. I'm just going to be satisfied. I'm not going to worry about how to do it.
Yeah.
And oh, so many meditators want to get it right. Oh, I've got to do the meditation right. No, you don't. You don't have to do it right. In fact, the doing it right is a hindrance. You're afraid to do it wrong. Stop being afraid of doing it wrong and just do it.
Just do it.
You don't have to do it right.
Yeah. And stop strategizing, right? About how to do it or how to figure life out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or planning to do it later. Strategizing and planning to do it later when, oh, I don't have to do anything. I can just relax right now. Things are okay right now.
Yeah. 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 I think that's
and you can see that goes against all of our training.
Exactly.
That in fact, we don't even want people in our society who do it that way. We find ways of criticizing them.
Yeah.
And so the teacher in class says, take out your pens and pencils. Here's the test. Take the test. And the kid just sits there. And the teacher sees that and she says, why aren't you taking the test? And he says, well, you asked me to take the test and I don't want to. And she says, no, it wasn't a request. It was an order. And the kid says, I don't follow orders. Aren't you afraid you're going to get a bad grade? No, you can give me a bad grade. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then people will say, well, that kid's not going to learn anything. Guess what? He already knows a whole lot more than all the other students and that teacher. Because he knows that he didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You can just sit there and be happy.
He's going to have a tough time at school.
Right? Until the school, I mean, why is he having a tough time at school? Why can't he enjoy it? Why can't he let other people have a tough time because he's not doing what he was told to do?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Expel him?
Yeah. And I think
then he's not having a tough time at school at all, is he?
But yeah, that's how the reality is that for that kid, he would go through rounds of punishment and this, that, and the other, right? Through so
yeah, but if he doesn't care, if he sees correctly that those people are just being unhappy, you know, and he's not causing their unhappiness, they're being bullies.
Yeah, but that's why he's the one in a 100, right? That has that approach.
I would say it's in the tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. Buddhas are rare.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, no other questions for me for now, but I appreciate it. I'll get back to practicing. Go and find some seclusion.
Yeah, go find some seclusion and just be okay.
Yeah.
And when you have a thought of being uncomfortable, if you have a thought about going someplace, you can say, aha, I see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see that thought. Yeah. You don't have to act on it.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
You can see that pretty skirt and you don't have to chase it.
Yeah, indeed. And I'll set that as my intention for the rest of the week.
All right, Thomas, we'll check you later.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot, Dhammarato. See you later.